We're 100 days from the election now, less than. I have a hard time believing the Wayfair thing based on the Russia. Mostly anything dealing with Russia, I have a hard time to believe.
You fill 1,700 pages, and maybe you'll want to write more of them. I mean, everything we're talking about, you could have a page and a half.
And maybe they'd read more of them too.
Yeah.
Because the long form discussion is taking over these news segments, are taking over these spoon-fed, prepackaged media sound bites that we get every day.
Media. Yep.
Do you think anyone on the left should have been blamed for this?
The insurrection?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the entire media.
And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Everyone, Dave here, December 1773. With me as always is Ryan, and you can't see her, but Eve is on the floor, laying down and looking up at me. So this is
where she should be.
Will not comment on it. This is episode 54 of the weekly show, All the Week's Hottest Topics with a Twist, as Ryan has been calling it, season 2.
Season 2.
53 episodes, or 52 episode seasons. It's a pretty long season. Be sure to watch us YouTube, Rumble, and Facebook. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. If you like the video, share the video, as Ryan always says.
That's an old school line.
That's way back in the day.
Yes, sir.
I have not presented, for those who watched last week, which I hope is all of you, I have not presented the idea of the ghost hunt to Eve.
Ooh.
She's in the studio now looking up. Maybe I should ask her.
What?
Studio.
Would you be in for a ghost hunt?
Yes, I've tried and you won't go.
That's not accurate.
It is.
So we were thinking Conspiracy Cast 2. The second one.
No, it should be called Conspiracy Cast 3, actually.
Well,
cocksuckers.
Yeah,
they stole an episode.
For those who don't know who weren't watching way back then when we first started, we had to record Conspiracy Cast twice because the first recording went missing. But not all of it. The video was there, but the audio was totally gone. So we had to do it again. Good times. So yes, technically Conspiracy Cast 3, but really Conspiracy Cast 2. So Ghost Hunt.
2.5.
We gotta find a way to do a ghost hunt. You, Ryan, would be on camera. Did you do that?
Yeah,
I don't. So for those, I don't know if you'll see that on the recording. Ryan hearted what I was just saying through Skype, so I don't know how that's gonna come up on camera.
Gonna melt YouTube to the ground.
I think that's enough of the shenanigans.
Our favorite segment.
I don't know. Lately, I've been liking Decembertainment. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh man, it's been getting rich. I've been living a good life out here. You know.
It hasn't. It's not that it hasn't been entertaining, but it's been less Decembertainment, more. Well,
it's like story time.
It's story time. Ryan's story time.
Not nighttime stories, that's for sure. Keep your kid up after that shit.
Headlines! It is about to get a lot harder to buy a gaming PC, and it's not because of the reasons you think. I would imagine people would hear this and think, oh, it must have something to do with chips. But yes. It's not. In 3 states, I don't remember all of them, it was California, Colorado, and another one, they have implemented some strict energy regulations. Basically, the amount of energy you're allowed to use in your house is now being regulated by the state. So, for those who don't know, gaming PCs, depending on how intense it is, they use quite a bit of energy, especially if you're making crazy like Bitcoin mining PCs. You're
that's weird. It's like they're regulating cryptocurrency, which they said isn't even a real thing before it's even able to be a real thing. Do you think they?
Oh, I'm sure that's just coincidence.
Yeah, it's just coincidence that you would think it would be chips, like you said, considering that has influenced cars in particular, and also the new Xbox and PlayStation were dropped last year, and people can barely still get them because of the chip shortage among cell phones. And so yeah, that's so crazy that they're basically telling you that they're really watching you. Big Brother's watching you for sure. But your energy is a crazy thing to think about, that they're measuring your kilowattage. So did they go into breakdown of like how they, or they're just saying that the amount of energy this PC will consume is more than the state regulation, or?
Yeah, pretty much. For anyone using a normal amount of energy, if you also are doing that, and if somebody's a big time gamer at your house, they're playing hours on end through a gaming PC.
Or creators, content creators, podcast creators. I'm sure Joe Rogan was using more energy than average at his studio in California. It's kind of weird. He saw the writing on the wall.
Probably. And maybe for like residential home use and businesses or whatever, maybe they can separate that and know that businesses use X amount versus residential address. But still, is it even whose job is it to regulate your energy consumption?
Yeah, no, you pay for it, right? I pay. Sounds like they're getting rid of the privatization of utilities. I mean, Governor Newsom said during the COVID lockdowns, if businesses were caught being open, they may have turned your water and gas off. So this is just obviously showing you the steps that they will take to like try to mitigate. And this is obviously going to be all tied around droughts and climate change. I mean, climate change is the next pandemic. They're going to lock us all the green that happened from when they locked us down last year. That was already cycled. That's already been a talking point. We've already seen all these headlines before. But this is crazy, man. I mean, what's next? I mean, your water. California already has to buy their water. They already have to I don't know if they have like water taxes there, or like they tell you to not fill your
from other states. So is it crazy to think that they would regulate your water consumption?
Yeah, you only need a gallon of water a day in this weather. There's so many things tied to this energy thing because let's remove the PC thing it gets really fucking hot there. But yeah, that's not a stretch of the imagination. This is crazy. This is just privatization of energy is going away, of utilities is now going to be a government. And I'm sure that nobody voted on this. I'm sure that the people didn't vote on this to be a thing that the government was going to regulate, or the government was going to have this authority. I'm sure this wasn't voted on, which I think is going to be a reoccurring theme this week with a lot of things we're going to discuss. Because I've been noticing a lot of the unelected bureaucratic institutions we have are regulating state and local policies, and even when people have fought up at the local, state, and levels and are winning, they don't care, and they're doing whatever they want based on because we're told trust science or we trust other things, but we're not talking about elected people making choices for us, the population, but we're told we're a democracy.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of that. You've seen even more of that just being in New York with, Governor Cuomo kind of just taking the reins and doing things because it's an emergency.
Yeah, we don't ask for states of emergency too, which is something I didn't really necessarily think about. I mean, it makes sense like when we have a lot of snow that they're going to be like, oh, we need to utilize all the state resources. That makes sense, but we never vote on them. You know what I mean? It's not like they survey me in the middle of a national tragedy and it was like, do you need government help? They just, nope, we're going to do whatever. I mean, I'm seeing locally here, this is going to sound conspiratorial, but I remember reading news articles that was talking about how they can measure COVID in the water leaving your house. And that's how they'll be able to detect the next hotspots. I don't know if you want to Google it quickly, but they can look it up. They can measure the water in the areas and test for the COVID numbers. And then I'm driving around my town in Depew the last week and a half, 2 weeks, maybe month at the most, and they're redoing all of our water. They're redoing all of the fire hydrants. They're redoing all of the spots that water is. They're about to do Transit Road, which is a huge artery for my area of travel, and they're locking down half the street on each side of the street. And dude, I would not doubt if they're putting sensors in there to measure your shit and piss to see where COVID is. And if we'll just piggyback this with the last headline, if they're going to measure you on your water and your electric, they're going to measure you on your food consumption, we're opening the door to Pandora control on our institutions here. So on our lives, rather.
I had not heard about this, but to your point, you said not to sound conspiratorial, but here is an article from Forbes, September 1st, 2020, predicting a COVID-19 outbreak with wastewater analysis.
Yep. And they're doing all of the plumbing. I hope there's Depew residents listening. They're doing all of the plumbing in my area. They're going to every fire hydrant, everything. And you know where they started? Right by the fucking police station. All the lower income housing over there. I mean...
I've not heard of that.
What else you putting in there? You're not let's get real conspiratorial since that's fact. Let's just put military apparatus into there and be like, if we're gonna measure for COVID, we might as well measure for everything. If you're gonna measure for COVID, how do you let's just copy and paste this with the war on drugs. How do you not know where all the drugs are? I mean, this is ludicrous. How do you not know where there's nuclear waste runoff, considering that they had Love Canal here in the 70s or 60s, whatever it was?
Yeah, of course. I mean, of course they know the answer to that.
This is ridiculous. I'm going to measure my once again, this is not asked for. I did not vote on this bill, but they did it under the state of emergency because they can just unilaterally, whatever. It's basically a rubber stamp, especially in these heavy blue states like where I live.
Yeah. You had brought up Big Brother earlier, and that was a perfect time for a transition. However, we definitely needed to break that down more. But speaking of Big Brother from 5 minutes ago, headlines. NSA review finds that Tucker Carlson's communications were not targeted. Now, Tucker Carlson...
I'm going to trust the NSA? Are you fucking serious?
Well, hold on.
I'm going to trust the spy grid of the National Spy Association?
It gets better than that, because he had made comments that the NSA was targeting him, and the NSA had decided to run an investigation on the NSA to see if... And believe it or not, the NSA found no evidence to support his claim that the NSA was spying on him. It even says in the article, an examination by the spy agency prompted congressional inquiries.
That's the fucking wordage in the article?
Yeah.
What's he doing? This is ridiculous. This would be like if a black cop was shot by a white cop and the white cop investigated himself. People would be losing their mind over that. Tucker Carlson, and newsflash people, the NSA is watching all of us. They just chose to target somebody. Fucking, the people that spy on everybody are going to tell me we're not spying on people. No, that sounds crazy. Just like Trump getting spied on.
This is why it's important to have independent reviews of things.
This is fucking ludicrous.
We had a unelected spy agency run inquiries with the government that they're tied into and investigated themselves to find that they, in fact, did not do anything illegal. They didn't spy on anybody. That's what they do. That's what their agency is.
Yeah, I'll take it a step further and use their public spy platform like Facebook and say, we consorted with the levels of government to combat misinformation on Tucker Carlson getting spied on. So it's even more of a conspiracy.
Yeah, what happens now if he posts something like this? Does his video get taken down that he claimed he was getting spied on? That's misinformation now.
Hey, just remember, he had alien graphics on the Fox News radio channel and everything else. They were talking all about aliens, and it turned out to be nothing in the document. Well, no aliens, but they could ran that conspiracy 24/7 on all major headlines.
That's misinformation. He should get taken down. He should have no voice.
This shit's ridiculous. This isn't surprising, honestly. What do we expect? Once again, these are known liars and crooks and criminals. Once again, said it last week in particular. These same people that tell me they hate the big tech and big corporations and all this shit are using them to rally the power to crush the population with them. So, these people know what they're doing and how to rally.
Ryan, I'd stated on this show, I don't remember how long ago, maybe a week or 2 weeks ago, that I'm not a huge Olympics fan. I don't really watch the Olympics too often. But have you been following the Simone Biles thing?
No, but I saw that the United States won gold medals in shooting, so go Second Amendment.
I think she was a gymnast. But whoever took her place won gold.
Yeah, for her.
I may have a slightly countering opinion to what people who typically watch our show believe here. But this is from Matt Walsh, and Matt Walsh is over at Daily Wire. This is his opinion article. Headlines: Simone Biles quit on her team and her country. She should not be celebrated for it. Now, to that I would say, she took time off to focus on mental health. I guess she was having mental health issues with, just the stress of being in the Olympics, which I'd imagine is quite immense. Obviously, I've never competed.
Before we continue with this, remember, she's still a child. They're all still children.
Hold on.
I don't know how old she is.
How old is she?
Let's before you get us shut down for misinformation. How old is Simone Biles?
Misinformation.
24. She's not a child.
She's a fucking
I'm sorry.
adult.
She's an adult.
I thought she was younger than that.
Well, hold on.
She's 4 foot 8 inches.
Hold on. To even go further,
That's
listen. This is that's actually perfect. If a child were to come to me and said, I have mental health problems, you know what I would tell the child? To shut the fuck up. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. You're a kid. 24-year-old, okay. I understand you being able to rationalize you have mental problems, but a young kid, they don't understand. Kids don't know what the hell they're talking about. So that wouldn't even be an excuse. It'd be all the more reason to intervene and try to give like an adult perspective to a child because they don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Here's the problem I have with this, though. Anytime there's some type of shooting in this country, they immediately rush to mental health, which I think is fair. Because I don't think anyone who shoots up a school or something is mentally stable. You can't possibly be mentally stable. So they rush and they say, well, it's mental health issues, which I agree with. But when someone comes forth with a mental health problem, this is the article they write. And it's not consistent at all.
So you're calling out conservatism a little bit here.
A little bit, yeah. I think there needs to be consistency there. You care about it or you don't, but don't rush to mental health, and then when someone has a mental health issue, it's like, well, she quit on her country. Okay, hold on. Let's talk about this a little bit.
So did the guy that shot up the school, Dave. To take your point, right? They're the same thing, right? And they're both cop-outs for these things, that it's a mental health crisis or...
And does somebody else now not... I mean, seriously, it sounds maybe crazy, but does someone else not come forward now because they're afraid that they're going to get, abuse for it? I don't know. I think that's a serious thing. I think we should celebrate that to some extent.
So I'll go a little further, just speaking of consistency, because we've talked about Kaepernick on here and stuff, and we kind of have a different thing. So you're okay with a health problem invading your distraction more than politics?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Would be Kaepernick.
Yeah, I think somebody's individual health, whether it's mental or physical, I think that, like when athletes, like we talked about Tom Brady, played through an MCL, like I think that should matter. Like I don't think he should have. And he's a competitor. He doesn't want to back down. He was probably the first one. He probably fucking
paid people.
The girl that took her place and won gold. That's who I was thinking of. She's 18.
Oh, okay.
That's why.
Well, she's an adult too.
Yeah, but she's still a kid.
She's so adult that females can sign up for the draft now. So whatever. So adult they can sign them up for the draft for fucking murder. But back to the mental health thing. I actually kind of like this. This is because I kind of honestly I didn't really look at the mental health thing or whatever because I got to look at this through a little political lens because I feel especially now let me rephrase that. There's a reason that certain back to the whole Daily Wire thing. There's a reason that certain publications were leaning a certain way with the words they were choosing to describe Simone's trials, I'll say. Because it was like, the Daily Wire's prime example that she turned her back on her country. We already seen this Olympics, the kneeling and such, which happened before. There was raised fist back in the 70s or 60s for black kids, which doesn't, I'm not, I don't care either way. But basically, I was kind of looking at it more of like, it's just like everything's political, right? But it's like, I feel like maybe I think they're celebrating athletes right now in particular because they don't have a president to demonize or celebrate. Joe Biden is not somebody to celebrate like Barack Obama was, and he's not the guy that you can make fun of and talk shit about like Donald Trump was. So we're like in this middle children syndrome with our president as far as the media is concerned. And they obviously, that's why they can't stop talking about Trump, and then everything else is fucking ridiculous. The UFO thing, police shootings, the economy, COVID, masks. The amount of things that have been magnified in a weird way because they don't have that distraction. Trump was such a distraction, and then they would use Trump as the glasses to look at politics, and now it's kind of the other way. The things are being looked at with a political lens, more than ever. And I looked at this that they were co-opting honestly, the last thing, if we as a society actually genuinely care about in particular athletes, right? Because they are, once again, I've championed this idea that they're the best of us. We should idolize them. We should want them to be they should be saints, basically. They should, want to promote 100% betterness to every man, woman, and child on earth. So if we really cared about their mental health, we would stop fucking talking about it. And when she backed out, it says she backed out. I'm sure there was people familiar with the matter or sources close to Simone or the U.S. gymnastics team or some political fucking bullshit. Like, we don't care as a society. We don't care about their mental health. We don't care about it. CNN didn't care about it when they were lighting my phone up with fucking notifications trying to say that she's a standard for women and she's promoting all these good things about mental health, which she probably is. This is probably actually maybe this is a good step, just like the kneeling was, we'll say, for NFL if they want to get their social brownie points in with their particular class. But maybe she really is championing something great. I'm not shit talking that, but we don't give a fuck about mental health. We care about the ability to signal that we care about mental health. It's another hashtag for these news organizations to make fucking millions off you and also steer your emotions towards a political philosophy based on how Fox News responded to Simone compared to this person. And this is also, to keep going, NFL's going right now. Go fucking Bills, Josh Allen, MVP. Awesome training camp videos they've been putting out. But this is even just going to add to the divide in the sports class that's already kind of happened with the last few years between the Kaepernick era till now, I say. What was Kaepernick, like 3 years ago?
6.
Oh, shit, yeah, 2016. Yeah, it was a year. Okay, so yeah, we're coming up on 6 years. Okay, so yeah, last, 5, goddamn, half decade. This is pretty good. That's a good. Well, it's for real though. That's a good amount of time to actually see, like, you would say that Kaepernick made a change, right, for the better, because on the surface, like, I know it's a very complex thing, but that's what I kind of meant with Simone. Yeah. She might have actually been chaperoning maybe there might be, I don't know, maybe the Union of Athletes might come up with a mental health committee or something. Maybe they'll pay for that. Maybe the athletes can get help. I know Michael Phelps actually suffered from depression after the Olympics. I don't know, maybe it's hard for those people to deal with being so high and imagine your best moment is like $1 trillion and then try to go to Sunday night dinner with your girlfriends and have a good time. When you were on $1 trillion.
This may turn into a COVID show again. I hate saying those words. I feel like I've said them every week for... Can we just go away? Can we be done with this?
I think it's going to keep happening, though. I think this may develop into a different kind of... Go ahead.
Let's get this over with.
Yeah, it's depressing, man. It's like...
Headlines! Uber is now making people take a picture in their mask before they will send a car. So what you do is when you go to sign up for an Uber for your $100 car ride, you have to take a selfie of yourself, which I imagine is only because of the mask and for the pandemic. And then it recognizes that you have a mask on your face for no other reason other than the pandemic. And after they have that, you'll get a little green, thanks for verifying, send the car out, and then everyone's safe. And it's only for the pandemic and no other reason.
I'm sure they're not going to sell any of this data to other companies to mine my face. And
I highly doubt they need any reason to have facial recognition with the mask on your face. It wouldn't make any sense. Conspiracy cast.
You know what that sounds like to me is a COVID, we'll call it a PPE passport.
Ooh. Well, maybe, yeah. But of course, we're not doing that yet, are we?
No, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen, is what
Americans aren't going to accept it.
You know what I hate is that some people don't see this.
Yeah, that's why I know, like, you're like, I hate that this is a COVID show, because we're a pandemic podcaster, but we've been doing this far before this pandemic, and the very things we've always talked about, basically in private, have come to fruition in the very short span of 2 years. We've seen government encroachment, loss of civil liberties, destruction of your private property, theft of all your, means of transportation and the thing that basically has a 99% cure rate, like plus cure rate. And we wear masks that actually don't protect you against the size of particle that the COVID molecule actually is. And the people that test positive for COVID also simultaneously can't tell the difference between that and the flu. So we could have been testing positive, and the flu went away, right? So let's just assume by default that all the flu numbers are now COVID numbers. So now it's even less, and we bankrupted our grandparents and put sick people in with non-sick people and killed them with a government level. And
so I'm probably gonna jump around a little bit. I usually post these in a specific order for a specific reason, but you kind of brought something up that makes me think of this. Headlines: over half of COVID hospitalizations tested positive post-admission. Meaning they didn't go for COVID. They didn't go because they were feeling sick for COVID. They went for some other reason, and then, oh, you have COVID.
I wonder if they had the flu.
Well, no, there's no way that would show up.
Well, the test can't tell the difference?
Well, yeah, but that's...
Trust the science, but the very thing that measures the science can't tell the fucking difference. You know what that makes it sound like, Dave? Is that COVID is just like the flu.
Oh,
it has flu-like symptoms, right? It has
flu-like symptoms. People who had said such a thing.
I mean, this is ridiculous. Remember, I don't even want to talk about him because he's the former president, but they said this big unhealthy guy, this big piece of crap, eats 7 Big Macs and Diet Coke, and he's not fit to be president. He got COVID, he's fine.
Oh, yes, but that's only because he had the best of the best care.
Yeah, Joe Biden can't talk. He has even more best of the best care. I don't get it, dude. I really don't get it. What was the number? I'm sorry to distract from
the number was half.
It just melds so together.
5 out of 10 apples.
Perfect. 5 out of 10 apples. We may have to start adding like that. I'll just carry 5 candy bars with me at all times. Be able to cut them in half.
Yeah, maybe do 10, just for the simplicity so you don't have to cut any candy bar. Or use Twix.
Only the right Twix.
No, if you use Twix, then you can open them and split them out. There's 2 each.
I go kick because
that would be 10.
I always go because people mix that with my last name.
So this is a headline that sounds familiar. I don't know if anyone remembers this. Does anyone remember 2 weeks to stop the curve?
Like 2 years ago.
Yeah. Headlines.
What?
Masks, vaccines could stop COVID Delta variant spike within 2 weeks, CDC Director says. Trust the science.
Why do we listen to people that aren't elected, but they make policies that directly infect what elected?
Because the CDC Director is a scientist, Ryan. And
I thought we were a democracy, David. That it's the will of the people that drive the narrative for society. But we're told to trust the scientists, which is far less people than all of the people that vote for people. Actually, in terminology, you are actually giving all of your choices to an elite group of people that can basically make a decision like totalitarian dictators. Some would argue.
What do you mean? Like shut down businesses and regulate your energy consumption?
350 million people get bossed around by one person, but I'm told by the same people that are telling me to agree with the one guy that we're a democracy.
Well, we did vote for that one person, right?
And the other people that came before this beautiful administration of cloth and garment and gold and purple was of milk and honey. He was the tyrant.
We, as a democracy, voted for that one person. And there was in no way can we possibly say or indicate that there was any type of voter fraud that could have possibly changed the election.
I saw a headline.
Because that would be misinformation.
I saw a headline, Dave. I hope you have it in there.
Uh-oh. Even
if the election was stolen, it would still divide the country. Yeah, no shit!
Oh. Well, that sounds like they're justifying an election being stolen, just in case.
It's like soft serve admitting that you just shit your pants. Like, dude. They know these people know what they're doing.
Yeah, that's exactly what that is.
And then they tell you about it. Trust the science. Hey, let's not trust the mathematicians when it comes to computers and equation. But oh man, you got any other of COVID news? I know you said this COVID show.
I have 2 more. In one of them, the last one I'm going to do is one we predicted, more specifically, I believe you predicted quite some time ago. But before that, headlines. Vaccinated people who contract COVID-19 Delta variant can spread virus just as easily as unvaccinated people. The CDC reports. Which is funny because I don't know if people remember, but 6 minutes ago, the CDC Director said vaccines and masks could stop the COVID Delta variant spike.
Yeah, they actually said, don't worry, we got this. Science, trust the science.
So does the CDC even know what the CDC is telling people? Because the CDC told people that it would stop it in 2 weeks. And then the CDC told people that it can spread just as easily if you're vaccinated or not vaccinated.
Have we asked the scientist if what's the point of getting vaccinated?
Well, we did ask the scientist, Dr. Fauci.
And what did he say?
Well, he said that you should wear 2 masks because it just makes common sense. Because that's science.
Common sense isn't science. They're actually completely 2 different things.
Nope, science. And
common sense is actually the opposite of science. What? Science is like proven in high degree of repetition with low failure rate consistently over a long period of time. And common sense is like basically cobbling together to make shit happen right then and there. Like that's actually the complete. It's common sense science. I hate these people.
So, I guess that brings up the point, though. If you're going to trust the science, if the same people tell you 2 different things, what do you trust?
You don't trust them because they're lying cocksuckers, Dave.
But you have to. That's the phrase. You have to trust them. So which one are you trusting?
No, I don't.
Do you trust the CDC or do you trust the CDC? Make your choice.
I don't.
The CDC investigated itself and found that the CDC did no wrongdoing.
Yeah, but seriously, the NSA investigated the CDC. I mean, dude, Fauci, there was emails of Fauci talking about all sorts of stuff and masks and all. He knew information before he told the public, and it's all been public. Nobody cares.
Well, yeah, I mean,
no one cares. No one cares.
But
Dave, shut it.
No, he was trying to help the people of this country.
No, he wasn't. By selling books, he helped people by selling a fucking story in a book.
That's what Cuomo did. Killed and sold books. And he's still in power, so obviously he's doing something right.
Used undercover government secrets at the same time when he's writing a book on how we saved everybody, even though he killed 20% of the nursing home by fucking. The last guy's an egomaniac, but these guys aren't. Like, we're fucking hot. You know that? What movie that he's like, I'm the captain now? That's where it's at. I'm the psychopath. We're the. Always watching, Wazowski.
I don't remember what movie that is. Something with Tom Hanks and pirates.
Yeah, it's something with Tom Hanks, you know.
Somalian pirates.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to say publicly, I'm not wearing a mask. I'm not wearing a mask. I'm not wearing a mask. I'm not wearing it.
Well, that's not an option. You have to. Did you get your vaccine yet? Did you get a 2-shot or a 1-shot? Did you get your booster?
Vaccine. If the people that are testing positive, I'll risk my I'll risk my immune. You know what's crazy? Why can't we test our immune system? We have all these tests that can do all these other fucking sweet things. We have night vision goggles that can spy on the moon from fucking Earth. You got to be able to test your immune system some way.
Well, this is a good test. Lastly, before we get into
you stop trusting the science. Like, I mean, for real, I really hope the average
Brian, that kind of talk is why we are the party of anti-science.
Oh my god, man. This is
I will not I won't have that kind of talk on the show. We must trust the science.
I do trust science, just not when they double dip.
The last one is something I put last specifically because I remember you predicted it. I don't remember the exact date or episode when you predicted it, but it was many, many, many months ago. Headlines! Actually, I think you put this in the chat, or maybe Kevin. Disney and Walmart mandate vaccines for employees. Which is interesting, because I remember Ryan saying something along the lines of your employer is going to mandate the vaccines, and it turns out 2 relatively what we would call small businesses, Disney and Walmart, have decided they are going to mandate vaccinations. Workers who are working on site, though, so if you're an off-site Disney employee, you're fine.
Oh, when you keep me at home from locking the economy down? How nice of you to say that I don't need to be vaccinated to work at your job. I'm sure your health insurance is going to get involved. I'm sure that there's going to be many layers to this. This isn't going away. And these two big businesses setting the precedent. These big evil corporations that are now being applauded by the left of the aisle. Even though Walmart and Disney are bastards. When you selectively want, this is like them painting their rainbow flag or their symbol, rainbow flag for Pride Month. So all the same thing, virtue signaling and. Healthcare workers, especially in New York State right now, are going to be mandated vaccines.
Also known as heroes.
Yeah, we call them heroes, and now we're telling the heroes what they can and can't do with their bodies. But it's my body, my choice when it comes to other things involving things that aren't your body or your choice. But this is the problem when you don't have these consistencies that we talked about a little earlier with the mental health thing. Like. Once again, back to Crowder. Crowder's under serious. He's having like heart surgery and other problems. I don't know all the stuff going on with him, but dude, that's a benefit of him and Shapiro, man. Is they are willing to actually stand. No, man, this is it. This is where I draw my line, and we're gonna see a lot more of that with these mandates and these vaccine mandates. And I know somebody personally that are saying that they're having shortages at a certain medical facility they work, and it's because of the vaccines and everything. In particular,
I know a way we could fix that. We could just open more hospitals for COVID and then shut them down.
Like a whole aircraft carrier that you don't
like a whole aircraft carrier that we don't use.
The one that's outfitted for killing other people in other places of the world. We're just gonna have it sitting in a city. But let's ship the ladies across the state and put them in all the other nursing homes so the numbers are lower by my
There you go. That'll fix it.
And then when the Department of Justice investigates me murdering grandparents, only 20% of the population. That's almost 1 in 4 apples. But, yeah, he's not getting investigated. He did nothing wrong. Didn't even investigate him. Let's talk about my sexual assault.
Maybe if he investigates himself, we'll get a really clear answer.
Should you imagine Cuomo like the judge? I see nothing wrong here. Yeah, he even double dipped on a lot of the vaccine thing. He was saying that if you're vaccinated, you don't need it because the vaccine trusts the science, right? This was a few weeks ago.
To be clear, every single one of them did it when it was first coming up because Trump was president.
Yeah.
They said they weren't going to take it. They wouldn't take the Trump vaccine. He designed it in his basement.
Yep. Even though we're told it was in years in advancement, this.
Oh yeah, they couldn't make it so fast.
Yeah, but they made it. They were in development of an Operation Warp Speed, just allowed it to basically skip animal trials, which is against the Nuremberg Code. But I'm sure they got federal immunity from that because just putting experimental shit in people's bodies is fine. I mean, God forbid it be like the flu and we just get over it. They're saying it spreads like chickenpox, which is weird to me because back in my day, we used to let each other get chickenpox. And then
I got it, ironically enough, when I went to Disney. I've been to Disney. I've been to Disney one time when I was a child. We went, and I got chickenpox.
Huh?
You know what happened?
What?
I cured them with my immune system.
Well, they say it could be shingles, Dave. So we're protecting you against your future self.
Oh, okay.
But trust the science. Yeah, my kid got a vaccine for chickenpox. I'm sure your kid did as well.
Of course.
Do it now. So it's one of those things. This is the common debate that we're going to have moving forward. But it is crazy that all these politicians, in particular, my governor of my state, literally saying that the vaccine makes it so that you don't need a mask and you can be indoors and you can not social distance. And then as people start getting it's almost like a correlation. I wonder if we could put it on a map. But as the cases
jokes on them, if they thought, meaning I could be around people again, I would get the vaccination. The last thing I want to do is be around people.
Yeah, I just identify. I can identify as anything now. But yeah, it's weird. As the mask mandates were loosened and the people that got the vaccine increased, and then the amount of people that had COVID again were vaccinated. Now we're talking about shutting down, and they were blaming the unvaccinated before, but now people with the vaccine are getting the strand again. I mean, to be honest, they did say that you could still catch COVID with the vaccine. So let's try to be consistent. But when
not all of them said that.
Well,
I know many people said, "Well, we don't know yet." I said, well, okay, let's just think logically. Can you still get things when you have the vaccine for other things? Like, I don't know, say the flu. Well, yeah. Okay, well then, isn't it logical that maybe this would also be the case? Well, we don't know. We haven't done enough studies yet. Okay. It just makes common sense, to quote Dr. Fauci.
Yeah, because we skipped the whole step, like, I don't know, animal fucking trials, which is in the, I don't know, the Nuremberg Code. It's like when...
You take that Nuremberg Code too seriously.
Yeah, you know, it was just like the thing that came out after the 20th century when hundreds of millions of people lost their fucking lives to ideology and blindly following people. The same people I was told was the last administration, blindly following them, but I'm blindly following scientists that are unelected and honestly have... if anybody has the ego, it's the scientists that make shit. You know, I mean, how many stories do we see? Frankenstein is an easy example of a fiction story, but I'm sure this is out there. I'm sure this is Jordan Peterson, Brett Weinstein, they've been pushed out of university. I'm sure this isn't just like this elitist point of view they always talk about. It's oddly centered around these people that are now making the things for all of the globe based on a virus and soon to be climate. It's crazy. Double dip in science and...
Well, that's all I got. I know you said you had some things.
How do you feel about Space Jam being a bust?
I haven't seen it yet. I don't know how I feel about it until I see it. I don't really... Whatever. I don't know. I think the problem was all the adults who saw the original one as a child went to see the new one as an adult and were shocked that it wasn't good. It's like, well, you're not a child. It's not made for you. Of course you don't like it.
Yeah, dude, there's very few things that I laugh at that are like for children, but it's all the stuff that I grew up on. Like old Flintstones and like the old cartoons, Tom and Jerry. Dude, one of my favorite things in cartoons is like when the guy's sawing the hole in the floor. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And the part that he saws
is the part he's standing on.
Yeah. Or like sawing the tree branch. Like I don't know why I do, but I always
you like a good classic run off the cliff and then look down and fall kind of comedy.
Yeah. Like Roadrunner stops, but Wile E. Coyote keeps going. Like, dude, it's just, I don't know. I still giggle. Or like the rabbit season, duck season thing. That it's just. So yeah, I definitely it's something. You know, let the kids be fucking kids, man. You know, their childhood's different. I know it's harder for us getting older that technology has advanced so much, but it's something we got to do, man. Because I noticed the tendencies that children are more aware younger now than they were when I was a child. Like innocence is getting lost younger.
I'm sure it's a matter of time before I see it.
Yeah, honestly, I don't watch a lot of movies and stuff. You know, I catch things with the kid and stuff, but I won't go out of my way to get it. Honestly, before I move on to anything, I'm just going to say two things quick. Pelosi made a comment about how the President Biden does not have the authority to forgive student loan debt.
Which is correct. Let's relate that to what Pelosi's doing to people in the House.
Or like everything fucking else the government has done.
Well, sure. But the only reason I bring that up is because it just recently happened where she's been fining people, and now Thomas Massie is part of a lawsuit against Nancy Pelosi because of these mask mandates within the House. Thomas Massie and Marjorie Taylor Greene, maybe, have teamed up to sue Nancy Pelosi over this. So it's ironic that she's saying this, not only with all the things that they've been doing without congressional approval like they're supposed to do, but even more specifically to that.
It's just incredible. I came up with that, the analogy of the very clear-cut lines that they've divided us with, and this is just like another thing. They know their powers. They are lawyers of constitutional law. Nancy Pelosi, when they sign things about gun control, freedom of speech, Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment, it doesn't matter. They know exactly what they're fucking doing. They're just never been challenged on it at a high enough level to do anything, or not enough people have cared about, because once again, we're a fucking democracy, even though we're not. But, I mean, this is just a clear-cut thing, but for her to come out and make such a stink about it is ridiculous. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. When we see things in the media about dividing the country, these are the people. They know what they're doing. It's scary. This is scary historically, especially considering we're in unprecedented times.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason that it's become a catchphrase on the show.
Yeah, it's got to be a T-shirt.
These people know exactly what they're doing.
100. It's unequivocal now. I know that has always been like a conspiratorial thing. Once again, that you and I and everybody behind the scenes here.
Yeah, the theory used to be, well, people in government are just incompetent. And it's like, well, I don't know if I believe that. Just given the fact how highly educated all these people are, I would find it pretty odd that they don't know very standard things about what they're doing, especially considering it's the fact that it's their job now.
My father said when he was a kid, all the gangsters put down their guns and picked up their law books.
That's a really very
These
good
people know exactly what they're doing. These are deep-cut political ties. They go back generations. The Kennedys, the Trumps, the Clintons, the Washingtons. Dude, it's just all coming out. And we cover it every week. Like you said, it's become a catchphrase for a reason. So I'm going to end it before I go to my Decembertainment, that masks are the new tea. I said this privately to people I know for the last few weeks, but with everything we've talked about, I'm assuming this show is going to be taking that turn to the bar bug, but we're going to try to stay out of it as much as we can. But I do want to have it cemented here now, considering our podcast and everything is literally named after the Boston Tea Party. I have said that you will see Indian cosplayers burning masks in public, and we're getting there. I'm telling you right now, masks are the new tea, man. So
just don't drop them in the water.
Yeah, because then we're killing turtles.
Yeah, I'm not an environmentalist or anything, but let's not drop our masks in the water and kill sea creatures. Tea's one thing; they just made the water delicious.
Yeah, coming from the fish guy, you know what you're talking about. All right, Decembertainment this week. First of all, something very near and dear to me. The drummer for Slipknot, the original founding band member, Joey Jordison, has passed this week. God damn, man.
I didn't see that.
Metal God. I'm a huge Slipknot fan. I'm a maggot, as they're called. Their fan base is called Maggots. Joey actually came up with that. He's a phenomenal drummer, arguably a legend, one of the greatest drummers that ever blessed the drums. The guy that has been on since like 2012 or 14, somewhere in there, is Jay Weinberg. His father drums for Bruce Springsteen, one of those guys. He's very good as well, different thing, but the whole point is their bassist, Paul Gray, passed in 2008 from a heroin overdose, so there's a lot of speculation going on in the community about everything. That doesn't matter to me. How these people live their life and stuff, is all part of their art. And all we can do is, like, once again, the mental health thing, man. Like, we either care about the shit or we don't. So,
yeah. But it's you go on stage in front of all these people with all this, and I'm sure that's just pumping endorphins through your body.
Dude, you're on 13.
And then you're done with the show, and it's like, oh, man.
Dude, how do you come back? I mean, you as a bystander at a lot of these events, like, it doesn't, even a movie to some degree, you as an audience feel like you're there collectively together in that experience. Dude, a music show when everybody's singing and dancing and there's alcohol and lights and smoke and smells and
yeah, and they go a little bit further too. They get all dressed up and
Slipknot.
It's a show.
Jumpsuits, pyrotechnics. I call them the freak show carnival, man. Like, for real, there's fire and leather and fucking, one of their drums is a keg that they beat with a baseball bat. Like, Joey was big notorious. I think he got it from, who's the drummer? Pam Anderson. Married Pam Anderson.
Tommy Lee.
Yeah, he used to go up in the air and drum upside down. But Joey had, like, a rig that would come up in the air and spin in 360, and he'd be, like, going crazy.
I saw a video you posted with that. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, man, that was like, dude, honestly, one of the concerts, I saw Slipknot front row once back in 2009, and, front row, like, dude, I took pictures with a disposable camera, and they came out incredible. You know what I mean? Like, I was right there. I actually got Paul Gray's guitar pick from that show, which he passed, and like I said, shortly after that, but...
I think I was front row one time at a show.
Oh, dude, it
was a weird... So it was like a smaller venue in Pittsburgh. It was Buckethead. I don't know if you're familiar with Buckethead. Really, like, incredible guitarist, but he's very weird. But it was a super small show. We were like right next to the speaker.
Yeah, man, intimate shows like that are weird. But like, just piggyback all the way back to Joey, man. Like, some of these. I mean, I say, like, every time I go to Slipknot that I come out a different person than went in there, man. Because it's an experience for me. It's like shedding of a skin. Like, I get a lot of anger out. And yeah, Joey made the world better, man. It sucks that he's gone. You know, he may have not been drumming with Slipknot, but like, you always thought about him. You know, you listen to older songs or when they play them, it's always gonna be there. So, you know, rest in peace, Joey, I guess. All right, my Decembertainment this week is more story time, less misogyny this time.
Ooh.
So I'm gonna be a little transparent here. Dave, what's your internet provider?
It's like some weird Xfinity or something.
Okay, we have time. We have Spectrum around me, right? Like Spectrum.
I have a feeling they're kind of all connected or tied together somehow.
Yeah, the government runs all these assholes. So I got a phone. I recently moved in. You know, the new studio. Everybody knows that watches and pays attention. You know, I'm pretty open and honest. But so I got a phone call. I've been I'm not saying I've been blowing shit off, but I knew that I got a phone call. They said, "Hey, you got to pay your bill." I'm like, "Huh, that's weird. I was told I wouldn't have to pay till this date." They're like, "Huh, you're gonna have to call customer service." Okay.
This is always a good start with the cable companies.
Yeah, even though you fucked up, I'll do extra work. Okay. So I get another phone call. They're like, your service is going to be shut off. Mind you, I'm a busy guy. I'm not going to call customer service today. Fine. One day I go to turn on my Xbox. There's no fucking internet. Like, must be that day. So I call them up. And they're like, yeah, sir, you owe, X amount. It's like, okay, well, that's awfully odd. Like, I was told this. I was just very transparent. I take notes when I call bills in particular or set things up so that I know what the fuck these people are telling me. And I told her, like, look, you guys told me I would basically pay the end of July so that it would cover all of June and all of July and then all of August. I would have to pay a double payment at the end of July. I moved in July 1st here. So technically, I've had service just under a month here.
Yeah.
But they were telling me that the service was turned on the 6th of June. I'm like, oh, that's weird. I haven't lived here I only lived here since June 30th. How can I possibly have the internet? They're like, well, it knows how to bill you because it knows when the modem was turned on. I said, well, once again, I haven't lived here since the 30th of June, so it's impossible.
Did they give you all new equipment, or did you bring a modem with you?
Nope. I've never had any cable in my own name. When I showed up in my apartment, because I called a month in advance to set this up so that when I came in day one, it would just be plug and play.
Sure.
Because obviously, I got entertainment and then also the podcast. I need to be able to shoot this. So but once again, boxes were here, all brand new shit. Plugged it in, never had bills in my own name, nothing. So I'm like, pull the call. I told them, I'm like, you guys record for quality assurance, pull up my phone call. I was like, because, I basically told the lady on the phone, like, dude, this is bullshit. Like, I know, it's not your thing or whatever, but you guys told me something that's not happening. That's not right. Sure as shit, she transferred me to my manager. You know what? She pulled the tape.
Yeah.
And she listened. They knew exactly the time, the date, the place, when I called, what I said. She listened to the whole recording. Don't let these assholes tell you they don't know what they're doing with your data. But the long end of the story is they're all scumbags. And I proved them wrong. And I basically, even though I paid what I paid that day, I wasn't supposed to pay that till later. So they fucked up again. I'm gonna have to sit on the phone with these assholes again. But the whole point of the story is like, dude, we really have to pay attention to these people. Like, all of them. It doesn't matter. I don't have options for internet in my local area. So it makes the customer service even shittier because they basically can tell you to fuck off and then you're stranded. But I basically told them, you're leveraging my internet access on something that you guys did and messed up.
Yeah.
So, but, I have to pay the difference. But it's not the point. It's just like, people pay attention. Politicians, corporations, it doesn't matter, man. They know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Shut your own cable off? What are you going to do, cancel?
I thought it was a human right. I thought it's a human right. All right, everybody. I appreciate you all for watching Dave and Ryan, December 1773. Like, comment, subscribe. We drop every Monday at 7 Eastern. And yeah, thanks, everybody. Thank you, David. And I'll see you guys for the premiere. We'll be liking and commenting and all that jazz. But till then.
7 p.m. Eastern, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble. Subscribe.
Like the video, share. Like the video, share the video.
And then super comment.
All right, man.
All right, we'll see you.
Peace. Bye.
He's
fucking. She laid on the ground the whole time.
Yeah.
She's a psychopath.
I just ordered all of our sushi stuff. I just spent $70 on sushi making stuff.
Isn't it great? Dude, I talk about psychopath and she orders raw meat, bro. It's fucking psychopath.
Well, no, it's not raw meat, it's raw fish, but I don't even think she makes it with raw fish.
No, we're gonna put in imitation crab.
That's even...
I can't even say anything, because I basically eat my meat raw anyway.
Alright, I'll eat my meat
raw fish pound, but I don't trust me and Kaya making it.
Yeah, I can't even say anything about people eating raw fish, because I eat rare steaks, so I guess... What are you gonna do?
California roll is the best way to go.
You can judge them because land animals are far superior to fish creatures.
In taste, I agree.
Yeah. Fuck fish. Dude, there's a reason I don't.
The problem here is I just dropped almost $2,000 on new living room shit, too.
Believe it or not, Ryan, if you come here one day, there is a seat for you.
Because I keep buying them!
There would have been a seat for you regardless, but now there's more seats. We host so many people that we need a large amount of seats.
I know you got a big family down there with all the siblings and aunts and uncles.
Yeah, we do have 3 people who live in the house.
Well, now we're gonna have 7 seats.
We have 7 seats. It's like people who drive third row cars because they have 1 child. It's like, relax, you don't need a Suburban for your 1 kid.
But they play hockey.
Yeah, it's dumb. You don't need it.
Excuse me, they are nice.
They're not nice. First of all, not to talk bad about any cars or anything, because this isn't a car show, it's Suburban.
Up next, Dave's Car Show.
Dave's Car Show would be great. Let's do car reviews. Can we do car reviews?
You would be really good at it.
Oh, you should do your car.
I love my car.
Your car's ugly as hell, though.
My car's great.
It looks like a bug.
Knockoff Beetle.
500 turbo. Knockoff Beetle.
What are you gonna do? Take your headphones off so you don't hear it anymore?
The speed demon. Eve gets mad because if Eve ever has to drive my car, she's
Listen, I'm used to my mom Jeep, okay? So then I get in Dave's car and I push the gas a little bit and it's like...
God forbid you have a little testosterone in your vehicle.
I know. It really is. My car is testosterone, her car is estrogen.
Yes. My mom's Jeep is very slow and safe. But not turbo-y. And not sneezy 500.
Dude, we started off on the rails and we end off the rails. No rail. Stayed on the rails in between those. Kind of weird.
If you're still watching and you want more episodes on or off the rails, just comment below what you prefer. If you prefer off the rails, we can certainly change the show a little bit.
How did we go from sushi to cars?
It's just how conversation works. By the way, if you want to see us 3 doing a ghost hunt, comment below also.
That's gotta happen. And
I've tried
not to be the misogynist, but
of your show.
You gotta bring a girlfriend.
So that
hold on. Wait, Ryan's trying to talk. I can hear him. He's on the show.
You gotta
too.
You gotta bring a single chick with you. I'm not ghosting.
He said we gotta bring a single girl. So this is gonna turn into
Kaya!
This is gonna turn into
Matchmaking.
Cast 2
Blind date.
Ghost hunt / blind date.
But I'm good at matchmaking.
But you're gonna be in the dark with this person.
Even better.
So
completely dark.
It's gonna be pretty dark when you ghost hunt. I'd imagine people don't look for ghosts in the daylight.
I don't know. Did anybody ever try it though?
Well, that's not when it's terrifying.
How the fuck do you know? Have you ever hunted ghosts before? Are you a seasoned ghost hunter?
So not to... this show is still going, by the way.
What if you watch the TV show on fucking ghost hunting? This is
not to dismiss my own beliefs, because I do believe in ghosts, but I think a lot of people believe in ghosts because they put themselves in a mentally somewhat scary situation where it's like spooky, deserted, dark, and then like your mind does weird things, right? This is the human mind, this is how it works. So I think some people
Trust the science.
see things that don't exist. Not to say that I don't believe in ghosts.
Do you remember when Nolan was little and he would talk about the person on the stairs and like start bawling about it? Terrifying.
Yeah, I don't remember. What was it? The Man in Black or something? I don't remember what he said.
Because I was like, wow, I saw that when I was a kid.
Yeah, it was like the man.
Fucking psychopath,
It's
bro.
the Man in the
There's
Hat.
like-
Man in the Hat.
Yeah, you gotta look him up. He's scary, and a lot of people see him. It's
the Man
not
in
just
the Hat.
one person.
And I've woken up on multiple. This is turning into conspiracy
Our
tales.
house is definitely haunted.
Maybe we'll do ghost stories followed by a ghost hunt, and that'll be the whole show. It'll be a big production. We'll do a movie like
A big production.
Yeah, it'll be a big production.
I'll get my GoPro.
Eve was seen where I woke up with like
Scratches.
I
Oh
had-
my god, you would wake up with like 3 scratches on your back or your face or your neck.
And not to say anything, but a couple of those occasions was at your apartment complex there.
Yeah, Briarcliff. Good old Briarcliff.
Yeah, just yell at the whole world, Eve. God,
I had three.
I'm gonna get assassinated in my fucking lip.
Three down the neck, like across the collarbone. That was pretty. It was
You
pretty
had
bad.
some on your
too.
back too, remember? I was like, Dave,
Yeah.
you're on your back.
Yeah, that was
You know what I think about that? It came from a woman, so I can't trust it. Until then, everybody, I'll see you next week.
Once if you're okay.